Greetings everyone from Michigan, Zone 6A, just north of Detroit. This is Žarko. Hi everyone. Today is November 25th. Very nice day, about 47 degrees. And in today's video I will talk about fig dormancy. For those of you who are just starting with this hobby of growing figs, I will say first a few words about fig trees in general. Fig tree, Ficus carica, or common fig, what we grow, is a subtropical species of plants that goes through dormancy. It is deciduous, so every year it will lose leaves and stay in a resting period without leaves for a few weeks to several months depending on the climate. And even in their native regions, Mediterranean and Middle Eastern, where it is much warmer, they will go through this dormancy period. In United States, in some parts of California, they will resemble mostly this Mediterranean climate, and I found in my research that those trees can go in dormancy around mid-December and stay dormant till mid-January perhaps. In one of the articles I found that fig trees require very little dormancy period. I think minimum is 14 days of temperature between 32 to 45 degrees for them to have a proper dormancy period. They need dormancy, they need to be resting, and I experimented about 10 years ago with a couple of my trees. Hardy Chicago, #1, you will see that tree in my videos. I kept in my living room next to the sunny southern window, trying to keep it alive with leaves and some fruits on it through winter time. And for 2 years I was unsuccessful. That tree and the other tree was they were really struggling keeping their leaves alive, and finally by the end of the winter they were dropping. So they need to go through dormancy period. In zone 8A, let's say here in US and above, fig trees can be grown in the ground without protection. 7B perhaps, maybe with a microclimate. Anywhere lower, 7A and lower, they have to be protected. In my climate of zone 6A, I started growing figs in ground. You'll see those trees for the last 12 years. And it is not really a reliable way of growing figs. I find there is a lot of work, and it is not reliable producing fig trees, fruit. For that reason, I switched to container growing, and for the last 3 years now, I've been experimenting with growing figs in containers and giving them head start to awaken them sooner, keeping them less in a dormancy, and so they can produce fruit much earlier in the season. This year I was very, very satisfied with the results. I had my first Black Madeira on August 3rd, and usually these very tasty, delicious varieties like Black Madeiras and cultivars are very late. If we go according to our climate and we bring trees outside in May, I think last day here is about May 10th of frost-free time, they will ripen sometimes in this October or November. But that time we will have cold weather, it is rainy, they cannot properly ripen those fruits. So for that reason, I decided to develop a method where I can produce those figs in the hottest time of the year. And for us here, it is in July. My plan is to have it next year, probably around mid-July. I will be really satisfied to have my Black Madeira ripen now. For that, I will have to give him even more head start this or next season. But first step is to let these trees go into dormancy. So I keep them outside until they lose leaves. First, frost will pretty much start that function of losing leaves. And for the last 3.5 weeks now, they were outside. I just brought them inside before these temperatures dipped below 25 a few days ago. We had 19 degrees at night. So that would be the second step after keeping them outside, to enter this dormancy and experience this cold weather, then bring them indoor sheltered area where they will stay until we take them to the third step, the final destination. And I will show you step by step how I do it. First, I'm gonna just show you around that area behind me. This is where I keep my trees, and my in-ground trees are right there. If you have trees in ground, you will have to protect them, and one of the ways you can use these bags filled with leaves that I collected from my neighbors. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna keep these in ground, but perhaps maybe I'll try to do some protection. I could expand my main orchard here, that's why I'm not sure. But now let me take you to my area where I keep my trees indoor. This is a shed. Now you can see it better. So this shed is attached to the garage, and all of my trees now are stored inside. So as soon as I saw the temperatures that will dip below 25, I brought them inside, and I have about 200 plus trees inside, cramped. That room in the back, they used to be my chicken coop. Now I'm not keeping chicks because of figs, but hopefully I will have them in the future. So fig trees, they can withstand temperature down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Depending on variety, some possibly can go even lower. Also depends on age of the tree, the size of container, and if they are younger trees, especially in these smaller containers, 1 gallons, some of them even have this green growth right there. So they will be really damaged if the temperature goes down below 20 degrees. For that reason, you will have to give them supplemental heat. If you only have older trees that are properly lignified, you can possibly go through the whole winter keeping them in this location, for example, without any heat. But for younger trees, heat will be necessary. For that, I'm using this small space heater right there. You need also this like a metal sheeting right there to protect those first trees and to direct air higher. And if you're gonna use a heater, I'm gonna just show you this device. This is a thermostat. Actually, let me just go from the other side. I have to go inside. Okay. If you're gonna use heater, I say this is a much needed device. A thermostat. This is like a DIY thermostat. My brother made this for me. Or you can buy a thermostat that you can just attach to the heater. It makes the life much easier with the thermostat. Instead of waking up during the night and starting the heater, you can just set and forget. You can use also timers, but that's also not as reliable, and this is much more precise. I will just show you how this works. So here you can see the number in the middle, that 10 in red. That's in Celsius, so 10 degrees, that's about, I'm going to look here, have my thermometer here for reference. That's about 50 degrees currently. On the left is the temperature where the heater will start working. And I have it set at -5, that's about 22.5 Fahrenheit. And on the right, it will be shut off at -4. -4 will be around, let's say, 24. And since this ambient temperature now is higher, the heater is not working. However, let me just demonstrate this. Let me say I'm going to set this temperature, let's say, 12 degrees. So, and then the starting point will be let's say maybe 8. Here is a sensor for ambient temperature. I will place this on this ice pack. So now watch, the temperature is dipping down 10 degrees, 9, and as soon as it reaches 8, it will be activated. Now if I just take this sensor and keep it inside my hand, the temperature will now rise 9 degrees, 10, 11, and then as soon as it reaches 12, shuts off. So very, very helpful device to have a thermostat. I think is necessary if you're gonna use the heater. Okay, so this will be everything for this video. I will start up-potting trees, all of these trees in containers, these white buckets. They will be up-potted now into 7 gallons, and I will start today. I will make a new video about that. That's all, and then next step will be to bring these trees indoor. And in my case, in my basement, I will make a video about that and how I have set up my room. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.